Hello everybody, this is BeastGet100 and welcome back to some more... I need to stop mixing up my games. Miles Edgeworth, Ace Attorney Investigations 2, Prosecutor's Path, The Inherited Turnabout. In the previous episode, we were interrogating... His name escapes me right now. But the guy in... yeah. And we were just coming up blank. Like, we couldn't get any solid evidence in order to pin it on this guy. However, we do have one thing that will help save us, and Detective Gumshoe has it. If you like what you see, leave a like down below, comment if you have anything to say, subscribe to me if you haven't already, and share with your friends so they can join in on this investigation. Now, once I get this tea open... Detective Gumshoe, I trust that you have the results. Of course, sir. I just got the report back from the lab. Detective, please be silent. So, this is the evidence that Prosecutor Edgeworth was talking about. Huh? Hey, what's this? This is the first I've heard of it. This was a request from me. I asked him to investigate a certain piece of evidence. Why is everyone always helping you out? I'm the one in charge of the crime scene. Mr. DeBest, I apologize for taking matters into my own hands, but how about we hear his report first? Sure. Detective Gumshoe, what were the results? Here's the report, sir. Just the blood found in the Gemini sculpture belonged to the victim of the poison gas, Dean Gustavia. What are you saying? Good work, Detective Gumshoe. As I thought, my theory was correct. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? We too would like an explanation. What on earth does this blood prove? This blood is something the culprit of the IS-7 incident tried to conceal. It can't be. This blood was found inside the glass case of the Gemini sculpture. In other words, your blood was found alongside Mr. Dover's body. No! What? Why would Mr. Gustavia's blood be in a place like that? If you intend to remain silent, then I'll reveal the truth myself. In the Gemini case, aside from the blood, we also found traces of salt and sugar. Salt and blood. And only one of Mr. Dover's sherbet desserts tasted salty. Come to think of it, I remember Miss Delicious saying the same thing 18 years ago. Oh yes, this sherbet was most delicious. Really, I wish I could have had a flashback. Let's take that approach. We've seen this already. So the liar was the salty part. Exactly. For some reason, salt had been mixed into the liar. No other traces of salt were found in Dover's room. In that case, please explain. Where did the salt detected in the liar come from? The rock salt lamp. Take that! This is the rock salt lamp used as the murder weapon in the IS-7 incident. I believe this part of this rock salt lamp was mixed in with the sherbet from the liar. At the time of the murder, there were 2 rock salt lamps in Mr. Mouse's room. One of those lamps took Mr. Dover's life. We know that Mr. Dover's blood was left behind on the murderous lamp, however. There were no traces of anybody's blood found at the crime scene in Mr. Mouse's room. Because the killer disposed of all the desserts with trace of blood in the streams of water, right? No other traces of salt were found in Mr. Dover's room. Speaking of which, weren't the two rock salt lamps found in Miss Delicious' room also broken? It looks like both the lamps and the pillars are broken. Both the light bulbs are broken. Another flashback. I don't know why I keep trying to voice them. We never did figure out why the other rock salt lamp was broken. Maybe Mr. Gustavia's blood was on the other lamp. Ugh. If your blood was found on the lamps at the crime scene, you would have been suspected. As the culprit, you would have needed to conceal all traces of blood from the police. Don't tell me he concealed it in the sherbet laya. Exactly. The rock salt lamp and his blood were mixed into the sherbet laya and hidden inside the glass case. Unlike the fountain's water, the sherbet desserts would not be analyzed right away. Perhaps he had planned to dispose of the sherbet when the opportunity presented itself. But then, the reason Mr. Gustavia came to the gallery. 18 years ago, the body and the evidence pointing to the killer were both stolen. Even the killer could not have anticipated that. There was no way of knowing when the body and the evidence would be discovered. So he planned to destroy the evidence before the Zodiac Art Gallery's grand opening. Dame Gustavia, isn't it about time you confessed? You were the true culprit of the IS-7 incident. Monsieur Gustavia, you're the reason Mr. Master is... Mr. Gustavia. Could it be? After all this time, my crime is finally brought to light. The prosecutors in the defense attorneys 18 years ago never even came close. Bravo! Bravo! Well done, Sir Prosecutor. So you admit that you killed Mr. Dover? It is true. I killed Isaac Dover. But he had one thing. He only had himself to blame. What do you mean? Dover and I worked together in order to win the contest. No matter who won, we agreed that we shared the angel's recipe. But on the day of the finals, he stabbed me in the back. So Dover, this isn't what we agreed to. What? But I made your desserts for you. I'm the reason you got this far. Dover, you were planning to betray me all along. Because of Dover's treachery, I was forced to make my finals entry on my own. It was just as the prosecutor said. My son assisted me every day until the finals. What about your pride as a confectionery artist? A pride chef, you lose the ability to taste his own creations. It's a feeling an upstart like you would never understand. Mastering the art of dessert dessert making is my reason for being, my one and only pride. Committing murder for the sake of pride, that's another feeling I will never understand. To say nothing of abandoning your own son for such a thought disgusts me. Before you judge me, first understand what happened 18 years ago. On the day of the finals, my son never came to assist me. Thinking back on it now, I suppose Dover had a hand in that as well. Huh? What exactly happened to your son? I do not know, but it no longer matters. Ever since that day, my son meant nothing to me. From what I hear, he's still missing. That's awful. Giving up on him like that. Without your son, you had no chance of winning, correct? Yes, and since I was guaranteed to lose, I needed a failsafe. During the afternoon tea time, I made my way to Sir Master's room. I just needed to take a photo of the cure to my taste disorder. It would have worked out. If only Dover hadn't interfered. You! That is awful. I will agree that he had it coming. When I attempted to hit Dover, he struck me and sent me flying. Crashed into one of the rock salt lamps, and that was when my blood stained it. So Mr. Dover wasn't the first one to be injured. To conceal my blood, I shaved away part of the rock salt lamp and mixed it into the sherbet. After that, it became part of the lyre sculpture. So, that's how you tried to erase your traces from the crime scene? Dover tried to blackmail me by using his knowledge of my taste disorder. If I didn't want it to become public, I was to pay him a large sum. So that's the reason you killed Isaac Dover. Exactly. What reason do I have to let those who obstruct me live? He was the one who drew the first blood. I simply gave him his just desserts. So that was his motive. I carried the rock salt lab that bore my blood into Dover's room. Then I came up with a hiding place where it would not be easily found. I get it. The room contained plenty of tools for sculpting sherbet. Your deduction is spot on, Sir Attorney. It was the ideal place to serve away rock salt. Then I proceeded to coat the surface of the sherbet layer with the vast amounts of salting mixture. But why? Why did you try to pin the crime on Monsieur Master? Excuse me. You are wrong to blame me for that, Lady Catherine. If not for unnecessary meddling, Mr. Master would have never been a suspect. Why do you think I hid the murder weapon in fluorescent cloth in Lady Delicia's room? There's only one reason why you placed a murder weapon in someone else's room. You wanted to pin the crime on Delicia. Me? Yes, that's correct. Gusty, why? Why me? As one who sought to be the world's best confectioner, I greatly respect his Sir Master. It was never my intention to cast suspicion on him. But an insolent woman who dared to sully the contest with fake desserts. I had no problem letting someone like you take the blame for the crime. That makes me sad. If you hadn't snacked on the other people's desserts, the body never would have been found. It was when Sir Master would be judging Lady Delicia's room. That's when I finally saw an opportunity to freeze the body, but before I could move the body, Lady Catherine had already discovered it. Why? Did you need to freeze Monsieur Dover's body? Why indeed? Monsieur Edgeworth, please tell us. Why would Monsieur Gustavi have needed to freeze the body? To throw off the time of death. Mr. Gustavi intended to freeze the body in order to throw off the time of death. If the time of death had coincided with the tea party, Mr. Gustavi would have been suspected. That's correct. Preparations were necessary to freeze the body. While I was preparing in Dover's room, I placed the body in the treasure chest in Sir Master's room. I can think of no better hiding place at the time. But thanks to that gluttonous pharmacist, the lid of the chest broke. Why did you disguise him as an ice sculpture? Once the body was discovered, there would be no time to throw off the time of death. To buy time, you needed to hide it someplace else. How horrid. How could you hide Monsieur Dover's body within one of his own works? It would all have been worked out if the body hadn't been discovered while it was in Sir Master's room. If everything had gone according to plan, Sir Master would never have been arrested. So, because I discovered the body, it's my fault Monsieur Master was...
Kate, don't take his words to heart. Even if suspicion hadn't fallen on Mr. Master, Miss Delicious would have taken the fall. No matter who you targeted, the one at fault here is Mr. Gustavi himself. The detective in charge of the initial investigation was also a dunce. To think that he reported the missing body to a prosecutor. He never did. Prosecutor Von Karma indicted Mr. Master without knowing the body had vanished. I see. That would explain why he looked so flustered at the crime scene. Although, something that would stand out if you read the official documents.
Could someone have intentionally distorted the information? At any rate, Von Karma found out about the missing body after he had made his indictment, and if he had let one person be acquitted, he'd have a stain on his much prided perfect record. That's why he concealed the fact that his body was hidden, and had Mr. Master declared guilty. What are you saying? For 18 years, that man has taken the blame for your crimes. Don't you feel anything at all? I don't care what you say. What a monster! I'm arresting him right here, right now, sir. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that will be impossible. And here it is. Here's the twist to the entire thing. So, you figured it out. That's correct. You have no right to sentence me. What? But the culprit is standing right in front of us. Allow me to tell you the reason why you can't arrest me. It's been 18 years since I murdered Dover. statute of limitations for murder in this country is 15 years, is it not? In other words, it's impossible for you to arrest me. I only confessed my crime because the statute of limitations had expired. The statute of limitations for murder is 15 years? Mr. Edgeworth, is there nothing we can do? Ugh. As long as the statute of limitations remains, arresting him is impossible. No way. My sincerest apologies, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Neither Mr. Gustavia's testimony nor your logic can be taken as official legal proof. The verdict of the trial 18 years ago cannot be overturned. What about the fact that Mr. Dover's body was hidden? Even if we can't arrest Mr. Gustavia, this should at least earn Mr. Master a retrial. Really? I wonder about that. Overturning a verdict of the Goddess of Law is much harder than you think. Is the PIC trying to justify the verdict from 18 years ago? Unfortunate, Sir Prosecutor. Is there nothing I can do? No way to continue pursuing Mr. Gustavia? It has been 18 years since I murdered Dover. Hold it! No matter how many years have passed, your sin will never fade. Sir Prosecutor, I'm sure you must have realized by now. There's no way you can arrest me. Arresting you would be a piece of cake for someone like Mr. Edgeworth. Isn't that right, sir? I don't think it would be that simple. It's impossible for you to arrest me. The statute of limitations for murder in this country is 15 years, is it not? Also, for the record, here in America, I do not believe that there is an actual statute of limitations for murder. You know what? Let me look that up right now. On screen. Live. We're doing it live. Yeah, murder doesn't have a statute of limitations, which is good. It's 15 years, if not. Hold it! It's possible that some of your actions 18 years ago was not affected by the statute. It's been so long, I've got nothing left to hide. Ask me anything you'd like. Very well. Could you explain to me what you did during these past 18 years? Certainly. After the contest, the medicine from the recipe book allowed me to fully cure my taste disorder. Then I immediately headed to Zhang Fa to train my design skills. So it wasn't even seen ever since that case because he was in a foreign country. Indeed, and I'm certain that I went abroad to train about 1 year after the case, right before Sir Master's final trial began. And thanks to my training, I'm now confectioner unparalleled in both taste and design. You should not be proud of your position earned through the sacrifice of others. Can't bake a cake without breaking a few eggs. Sacrifices were necessary to my goal. It's horrible. Say what you will. The fact still remains that you cannot arrest me. Ugh. I have to get more information on Mr. Gustavia. Was there anything of note in his recent testimony? His training in Zhang Fa. Could you please add the details about your training in Zhang Fa to your testimony? Certainly. Afterwards, I trained in Zhang Fa to become the world's best confectioner. For how long? You trained in Zhang Fa? After the incident 18 years ago, I left on a journey. I had already decided to hone my candy crafting skills in Zhang Fa. Thanks to that, my design sense is incomparable to what it was in the past. Wow, that's awesome. Oh, excuse me. I sound like a valley girl all of a sudden. Oh my god. You may have it if you like. No, sweet. So you're trained in Zingfa. Statute of limitations. Is this it, or do I need more information? Because if we look at the statute of limitations again, if the suspect flees or lives in a foreign country, the time limit is on hold until the suspect returns. Objection! Okay. One of the conditions regarding the statute of limitations for murder is as follows. If the suspect flees to a foreign country, the time limit is on hold until the suspect returns. So the statute of limitations was suspended while you were overseas. That's right. The statute of limitations stopped while you were training in Zingfa. Indeed. It is possible that the statute of limitations has not expired yet. Mr. Gustavia, please tell us how long you stayed in Zingfa. It would be exactly 3 years.
3 years? Wait. Let's calmly think this over. If the case occurred 18 years ago, the statute of limitations is 15 years, and he was away for 3.
Plus, 15 plus 3 is exactly 18 years. I'm sure of it. Mr. Edgeworth, we did it. Statute of limitations hasn't expired yet. We have, but not officially yet, because 15 years is when it expires.
Exactly 18 years, you say. How amusing.
So he realized. Why are you laughing? The statute of limitations still applies.
Okay. It's frustrating, but it's not exactly 18 years. The case occurred in December. It's April now, which means, strictly speaking, the case occurred 18 years and 4 months ago. Stay abroad wasn't quite enough. We were just a few months short.
Not enough? That's...
Like I said, it's impossible for you to arrest me.
He must have known all about this when he confessed to his crime. Prosecutor Edgeworth, it really is a shame. If it was just 1 year earlier, the statute of limitations would not have run out. Those who undermine the goddess of law's verdict must bear the burden of their crimes. It seems you were simply incapable.
Ugh! No! This can't be the end.
So, Monsieur Gustavia really is beyond the law's reach.
Kate, what are you thinking?
Objection.
You're thinking of taking matters into your own hands. I implore you to reconsider. There still might be a way to bring this man to justice.
What?
Miles, remember the facts of the case 18 years ago. Just as you were mistaken earlier, it seems Mr. Gustavia has also overlooked one key detail.
Overlooked?
He wasn't present during Mr. Master's final trial, so he doesn't know the outcome of the trial. That's right! There may still be a way for you to arrest him. Miles, look over that book on the statute of limitations again. 17 years ago, Master was falsely declared guilty for a serious crime. Thanks to that verdict, we aren't out of the ammunition yet.
Mr. Shields, you don't mean...
Those who undermine the goddess of law's verdict must bear the burden of their crimes. I'm Mr. Master's attorney. Can't use his suffering as a weapon in good conscience. For that reason, I leave the rest up to you.
We've got this case locked down. The trial my father and Von Karma battled over. Can I use that to arrest Mr. Gustavia? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? My father and Von Karma. Their paths diverged. One revealed the truth, the other concealed it. The path that I chose is the path of one that reveals the truth. I see no further reason to prolong this trial. I hereby find Dame Gustavia not guilty.
Overruled! Gustavia will stand in court for his crimes.
Do you mean to say that you have found a way to arrest Mr. Gustavia?
Exactly.
I'll show Judge Courtney the evidence that will shatter the statute of limitations.
Take that!
The I-7 case file. Which page are you referring to? Case summary. Shit.
Ah, it's okay. It's the end.
I really should have looked at it.
Suspect data.
The suspect data page. At the trial, Jeffrey Master was found guilty of being an accomplice to the murder, and it took 1 year to arrive at this verdict. Right, that is indeed true. This book lists conditions in which the statute of limitations can be put on hold. The first, as I have said earlier, is if the suspect flees to a foreign country. But there's one more. If possible accomplices are on trial, the countdown is stopped until the verdict is reached. What are you saying? Sir Master was found to be an accomplice.
That's right. Mr. Master was sentenced after you had left for your trip to Zhangfa. He was found guilty of not being an accomplice. He was found guilty of, not being the culprit, but being the accomplice. But it seems like you didn't know that.
That's absurd! Sir Master never committed any crime to begin with. You should certainly know this. Of course we do. That is why we are going to free him. To that end, we will shatter the one remaining obstacle in our way, the statute of limitations. You fled to Zhangfa for 3 years, and Jeffrey Master was being tried as an accomplice for 1 year. But then altogether, we see that the total time limit for this case is 19 years. In other words, the statute of limitations is not over for you yet. The goddess of law is unerring in her judgments. However, it seems that the prosecutor at the time was not. I cannot believe it, but it seems like the case will have to be reopened. This is absurd! You cannot arrest me!
For the last 18 years, an innocent man has suffered greatly in your stead. Mr. Gustavia, it's now time for you to atone for your crimes.
No! I had finally earned my place as the greatest confectioner in the world. To achieve that goal, I cast everything aside, even on my own son. What a shame. You can't run from your crimes any longer. I'm just gonna let this play out. I think Gustavia's been taken into custody, sir. Yeah, so you're up next, right? Yes, I understand.
Kate.
Everyone, I'm truly sorry for all the trouble I've caused. And thank you very much for casting Monsieur Gustavia. What you did cannot be overlooked, even if the crimes you committed were in response to a past injustice. As a prosecutor, I'm terribly sorry for what happened. No, I'm only getting what I deserve, since I was the cause of all this.
Kate, will you have me as your attorney? I'm not quite the same useless kid I was 18 years ago. I won't let them find you guilty.
Oh, Monsieur Shields. Yes, thank you so much. Sorry to interrupt, but it's time to go. Yes, alright. Judge Courtney, can't help but feel you have also been dishonest with me. Dishonest? Whatever do you mean? You You said that the verdict could not be overturned, but that was not the case. A reinvestigation and retrial were obviously required as soon as the missing body was found. I have no need to answer you. Seems she doesn't intend to ever give me an answer. Prosecutor Edgeworth, the PIC has you in its sights. They will receive a report on everything you did here today, and you will not most likely be required to appear before them. Now then, I shall take my leave. Hold on, Mr. Edgeworth caught the real bad guy. Didn't he do his job as a prosecutor? No matter how things turn out, I will never regret what I did here today. Mr. Edgeworth? Hey, Prosecutor Edgeworth. What is it? Why are you always sticking your nose in cases that you're not even involved with? My duty is to reveal the truth. Not only as a prosecutor, it's just who I am. I don't get it. As long as you continue to think that being the best is always all that matters, I doubt you ever will. Well, I don't get that either. I'm going home. What was that all about? There's much he still needs to learn. Not doing that. What is it? I knew that Greggy's son could do it. I think I might be fully... no. Go away. Go away. Yo, Wedgie, great job solving that case. Well, I was busy drawing, so I really didn't catch all of it. Where did Katie and Justy run off to? Maurice, you really weren't paying much attention at all, were you? Well, I hate to admit it, but Larry's Doodles actually helped us out a few times. I should say something nice to him. Don't glare at me like that, I'm sorry! It was not my intent to glare at you. The patented Edgeworth glare. You're just like your old man. Is that so? Well then, Uncle Ray's going to pay Mr. Master a visit. You guys want to tag along? I'd be happy to accompany you. Oh, me too. So this Jeffrey Master, what's he like?
He's a real nice and gentle guy. He's still doing his very best to make people happy. He actually cooks desserts for the inmates. Nowadays, all the prisoners and guards look forward to snack time at 3 o'clock.
Well, that's nice. I want to eat his desserts too. The chocolate cake we saw at the prison the other day. He was the one who made it. Oh, Gummy, why are you here? I heard everybody was coming to visit, so I escorted Mr. Master myself. Hello, one and all. I am Jeffrey Master. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth at your service. And I'm Mr. Edgeworth's assistant, Kay Faraday. It's a pleasure to meet you all.
Mr. Master, Miles is your old man's... excuse me. Miles is your old defense attorney's son.
You mean Mr. Gregory's? Your father has done much for me, and yet I betrayed his good faith when I made the false confession. I've heard the details from Mr. Shields.
Mr. Master, I came here today to tell you everything we've learned about 18 years ago.
18 years ago. Kate committed a crime for my sake. Why would she do such a thing?
Miss Hall has been trying to prove your innocence for the past 18 years. She was willing to do whatever it took to save you.
Kate, she shouldn't have gone through so much trouble for an old man to let her down. Mr. Master, I don't think you realize just how much Miss Hall cares for you. I have something here that clearly proves the two of you share an unbreakable bond. Sorry. This should be easy, and yet... don't fuck it up. I want to say it's the teapot, but at the same time... It's just one last thing!
Take that.
Damn it. Is there... Hold on. I'll be right back. So, I just played through this entire case again, fast forwarding just to get back to this point, but I honestly do hope it's worth it, and it is worth it. I just want to say, like, Mr. Master was in prison this entire time, and I think a little faith will do him good. So I looked up what the right answer was, but I just hope that it's not lying to me. Also, let me turn that off. Okay, cool. It's the chocolates. I should have known that. I was overthinking things again. Take that. These chocolates, did Kate make them? She did. They're really sweet and tasty. She's been making these chocolates for the past 18 years, so that she could give them to you whenever you returned. Kate. Oh. I'm sure they are very, very sweet. Yes, they truly are. Unfortunately, I cannot give them to you now, but I can hand them over later in secret, pal. It is against the rules, but right now I don't have the authority to stop him. Thank you very much. Say, you remind me of an old friend. Do you know Detective Bad? Of course I do. Detective Bad is my #1 role model, pal. How uncanny. Talk about fate.
Mr. Master, looking like we'll be able to get you out soon. Can only apologize that it took 18 years to do so. Raymond, I'm the one who should be apologizing. No, that's not it. What I really should be saying is... thank you. Mr. Master, now it's my turn to wait for Kate. I make her favorite sweets every day until she returns. Please look after her, Raymond. You got it.
The IS-7 incident, the case I inherited from my father. After 18 long years, it's finally coming to a close.
Miles, thanks for today. I'm sorry for leaving that final decision to you.
No, I made that decision of my own free will. Huh? What are you talking about?
To rescue Stavia, we had no choice but to use Mr. Master's false charge. To use Mr. Master's false charge, which I was originally supposed to protect him from. The attorney inside of me simply could not do it.
So that's how it was.
But, after this, Uncle Ray is going to try to clear away that false charge as well.
Yes, I understand. What? But if they find out about the false charge, they won't be able to arrest Mr. Gustavia, right?
That's true. Sure is a contradiction in the law. The way the law is right now, it isn't always completely right.
Contradiction in the law?
Well, who knows what'll happen. The law evolves and grows, just like all of us do. Just like Uncle Ray and Miles have grown up, you know?
People in the law both grow.
Miles, to fight crime as a prosecutor or to save people as a defense attorney, I want you to think carefully about how you want to live your life from now on.
I will.
Well, if you'll ask Uncle Ray, you'll always be welcome down at the office. Alrighty then, looks like it's time for Uncle Ray to get going. Next time I see you, I'll be sure to thank you again. Really though, thanks for today.
Mr. Shields seemed to be in a bit of a hurry. Indeed. I should be the one thanking him. I was able to face my father's last case because of him. When I was young, I wanted to become a great defense attorney like my father. However, under Prosecutor von Karma, I learned the ways of a prosecutor. Thanks to a certain friend, I was able to discover my own path in life. However, right now, there are forces trying to take me off the prosecutor's path. Maybe now is the perfect time to think about how I should live my life. April 2nd, 7:29 p.m. Edgeworth Law Offices.
Gregory, I'm sorry that it took so long. It may have taken 18 years, but finally, we've proven Mr. Master innocent. Miles, your son, helped me with that. The way he fought for the truth, he was just like you, Gregory. Still not the kind of attorney you were, but I will forever carry on the convictions I inherited from you. And if I can, together with him.
To fight crime as a prosecutor, or to save people as a defense attorney. The path I choose is... We still have 2 more episodes. And this episode, the one coming up next episode, is one that I have been awaiting for a while. It is one that I have almost dreaded in a way. But it's time to face it. In the next episode of Miles Edgeworth, Ace Attorney Investigations 2, Prosecutor's Path, we are going to The Forgotten Turnabout. I will see you guys later.